Adventurous kids explore with education and learning what a wild life is in the Everglades. I want to explore the Museum of Discovering Science. What plants do butterflies like? I want to know about Key West Adventurous Kids. Learning and fun. Adventurous Kids!
Today I'm going to tell you about Bass Reeves. Bass Reeves was one of the first African American deputy U.S. Marshals in the West. During his time as a marshal, Reeves caught more than 3,000 criminals. That's way more than other famous marshals like Wyatt Earp. Dang, that's a criminal on a whiskey. Bass Reeves was born into slavery in what is now Crawford County, Arkansas in July of 1838. He was named after his grandfather, Bass Washington. Reeves and his family were enslaved. He grew up in Grayson County, Texas, but he escaped to Indian Territory, now Oklahoma and Kansas, as a young man. Once there, he became acquainted with the Cherokee, Creek, and Seminole, learning their customs, languages, and tracking skills. For Reeves, going into Indian Territory was like escaping to another country. It was governed by the tribes who were forced to live there. That meant he was safe from the laws that would keep him in slavery. Bass Reeves also developed into an incredible marksman. He was ambidextrous, meaning he was able to use both hands, equally skilled with both hands. Sometime after the Civil War ended, Reeves left the Indian Territory. Slavery had been outlawed, and he was now a free man. He bought some farmland in Arkansas, got married, raised a family. Reeves was married twice and had 11 children. Reeves and his family farmed until 1875, and Isaac Parker was appointed federal judge for the Indian Territory. Parker appointed James F. Fagan as U.S. Marshal, directing him to hire 200 U.S. deputy marshals. Fagan had heard about Reeves, who knew the territory and could speak several native languages. Reeves, at the age of 37, was commissioned or chosen to be a deputy U.S. Marshal by Judge Isaac Parker in 1875. This was a great honor, as few African Americans had been chosen to be marshals west of the Mississippi River before. Reeves was assigned as Deputy U.S. Marshal for the Western District of Arkansas, which had responsibility for the native reservation territory. Bass Reeves had a reputation as an expert tracker who knew the Indian Territory. The local police there were only allowed to arrest other Indians, so criminals of every kind used it as a hideout. Reeves was one of the first deputies hired to clean out the lawless territory. Reeves worked for 32 years as a federal peace officer in the Indian Territory and became one of Judge Parker's most valued deputies. Reeves brought in some of the most dangerous fugitives of the time. He was never wounded despite having his hat and belt shot off on separate occasions. He served there until 1893. That year, he was transferred to the Eastern District of Texas in Paris, Texas. For a short while, in 1897, he was transferred again, serving at the Muskogee Federal Court in Native Territory. Since Reeves grew up enslaved, he had never been taught to read. However, Reeves had a fantastic memory. He had a friend read the warrants before he wrote out and memorized which was which. In all his years of service, he never served the wrong warrant. Reeves would often ride back into town leading a string of tied-up criminals. In addition to being a marksman with a rifle and revolver, Reeves developed a superior detective skill during his long career. When he retired in 1907, Reeves had on his record thousands of arrests of felons. Newspapers reported he killed 14 outlaws or criminals, and he captured many more during his time in office. After leaving the job of Deputy U.S. Marshal in 1907, Bass Reeves became a city policeman in Muskogee, Oklahoma. Reeves' health began to fail further after retiring. He died of Bright's disease on January 12, 1910. Vonda Michelle Nelson wrote a biography of Reeves called Bad News for Outlaws: The Remarkable Life of Bass Reeves, Deputy U.S. Marshal. In 2010, the book received the Coretta Scott King Author Award. In May 2012, a bronze statue of Reeves by Oklahoma sculptor Harold Holden was erected in Pendergraft Park in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Thanks for watching this episode of Adventurous Kids. Yeah! That's a Bass Reeves on a whiskey.
What did you learn today?
Adventurous Kids.
Adventurous Kids.
What was the most interesting fact?
Adventurous Kids.
Adventurous Kids.
Adventurous